Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the I am, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Psalms chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. Yes, and then we go over to the book of Oshay. Oshay chapter 1. And this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Joshua or Oshay 1 and chapter 1 and verse 8. Oh, yes, all praises to the Most High. We thank God for you, and you. We're in the law. We're in the law that God had handed to the children of Jacob when they came out of Egypt. They were Egyptian by birth. Yes, they were. They were African or Egyptian by birth. And now they are known as the children of Jacob. They went back over to the continent. Now the children that are born in the land of Israel, after this Exodus, they are Israelites, or were born in the land of Israel. Yes. Now, we shall start with the book of, we're still in the book of Leviticus. We're going through them, naming out these laws and pointing out things. And we thank God for you, and you. We're in chapter 20. Yes, these laws that people say there are so many laws, they repeat themselves. It's not but so many laws. It's not as many laws as they thought. And then you got the Satans that will deal with these people and say, oh, there's hundreds of laws in there. But can you name all the laws? God come up with a law that is right for us. And that law is Exodus chapter 20. Thou shalt not have no other gods before me is where he started out. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And then love your neighbor as yourself. He boiled it down to 2 laws. But then God has to explain himself. With us being human, it just didn't come that easy. Although he even gave us 10 after the 2. He still has to explain it because it doesn't come to us that easy. So then some took it upon themselves to invent this New Testament. Good as it may be, but it's still wrong. But the fact is, God's law, a law that have been sang about, have been praised, have been worshipped, have been danced, even stolen, and returned. Men danced before it, only to be whittled down to that of a man. No, it's not like that. God does not change. He says a lot about himself in these next chapters of the 66 books that we shall endeavor to bring to you, as some of you already know and can quote it better than I can. But we're going to start at verse 7, Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 7. He says, sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy, for I am holy. For I am the I am your God. What does it mean to be holy? To be clean before the Most High? It was, oh, you got to be holy. What does it mean to be that? It means to follow the commandments, statutes, ordinances, and laws of the Most High. That is the only way you can be holy. There is no other way. It is the way, the truth, and the life we should live. Yes, it is. But they all contributed to just one man. Oh, you call on his name and you're holy. You say, oh, Yahweh, and you're holy. But then there's a trick come. They say, well, you could use the law. We could go by the law. But how can you go by two things that contradict each other? Give us a break here. Now, it contradicts in that it replaces circumcision with baptism. Yes, it replaces Israel with what they call a so-called church. And then it replaces God with a man. This is what I mean. He says, and ye shall keep my statutes and do them. This is what he said. This is how you're going to be holy. I am the I am which sanctify you or set you apart. Oh, can you be sanctified, Holy Ghost filled and fire baptized? They don't even know what they're talking about themselves. Sanctified means to be separate. Even in their own book, the Israelites separated themselves literally. But now we want to mingle, take of their pork and all these other things. Yeah. That God had forbid in his law, and his law hasn't passed. It will never pass. It is a standard forever. It's a standard in heaven before it was a standard in earth. Now, he goes again here, honor thy mother and thy father. For this cause, he says, for everyone that curses his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. In other words, you dishonor your mother or father or your father or mother by cursing them. In other words, wishing evil upon your father or your mother. He said, if these things are heard, you shall surely be put to death. And God will make it known some kind of way. He that have cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. He's talking about then. Why do you think God bring colonizers and all these other entities throughout the globe upon the children of Israel? They have to be taught. It's even worse now to teach them, because they have been indoctrinated really with many other doctrines and ways and dogmas. Yes, they have. Honor thy father and thy mother. Now he gets into a little, this is just under honor thy father. You know, if I honor my father and my mother, I will not curse them. He said, if you can't honor them, how can you honor God? And God is the creator of all mankind, who have ordered everything to multiply and bear fruit after its kind. Even you, mankind. He's not a husband. He's not a father. He's the creator. In other words, authority in the home first. 10. And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. You stolen another man's wife. You stolen what belongs to your husband, woman, and given it unto another man. You stole. It's by chance that even God gives some of us the mercy to live after such events. But the fact is, this says shall be put to death. In other words, you will go to a tribunal or a court, and they will put you to death. This is what God had handed down to the children of Israel. He handed judgment to them. But they did not judge the adulterer nor the adulteress to find them guilty, and to carry out the sentence of stoning them and putting them to death. This is what God does. This is civil law. under the Most High, even the God of all universe, time, space, and matter. This is still standing. And Israel will come to pass that they will bring all this out. That men might what? This is why it's so. Fear not to do such things. So this is a twofold thing. You stole and you have violated. You have desecrated. You have made the land sick. This is what he's saying. And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulteress and adulterer shall be put to death. Leviticus chapter 20 and 10. And the man that lieth with his father's wife. In other words, in that time, even today, there are men that have more than one wife. If a man lie with such as who? Who did that? Reuben, the firstborn. Reuben, out of him should have came the scepter and the Levitical priesthood, but God had given it to two of the other brothers, which was Judah and Levi. This is in the book of Jasher as to how they got where they are. You're not born again into the tribe of Levi, neither are you born again to be a bona fide child of Jacob. You're born into it by reason of the seed of the fathers into the mothers. See, this is where the church falters. This is where you're trying to erase Israel. You're trying to erase it and make a controllable people or something. I don't know what that is. God never tried to control you. He's just saying, hey, this is common sense, really. You don't steal. You don't give what's not yours. Your body is not yours, woman. Your body is not yours to give to another man's wife, man. Now, some of these things we've gone over before, but the law is never old. It's never old. Now, he put it in we was in verse 10, 11, 12. If a man lie with his daughter-in-law, in other words, your son's wife, both of them shall surely be put to death. Why are you laying with your baby's wife? This is to increase your lineage, to lengthen your lineage. And now you desecrate your own lineage by laying with your father's wife, or your son's wife, should I say. We're in verse 12. Both of them shall be put to death. He's telling Israel, put them to death. This is the law. You will put them to death. The Levitical priests, when they're reported and shown this thing and proven, they have due process. Yes, okay, due process is due. After it's proven, and the witnesses lay their hands on their heads, certifying that these two have done that, put them to death. And if they lie, put the witnesses to death. This is how God got rid of it. This is a simple law. Simple way God got of make sure people tell the truth. He knows men. He knows men. He knows crooked people. He knows liars. Yes, he does. Ain't no liar gonna sit up there and put their life on the line just to tell old dumb law when they're gonna get found out eventually. Not in this day and time, because they're gonna do a DNA test. Now, he says, now if a man lie with a dog, both of them shall be surely put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them. You're going to put them to death. Now 13, if a man also lieth with mankind as he lieth with a woman, effeminacy, or should I say, we call it has a lot to do with Sodom. Sodomites. Sodomy, or whatever you want to call it. Both of them have committed an abomination. This is an abomination. That's something that God has not intended for mankind. neither was his gender given to him or her gender given to him to lay with the same gender. This cannot be changed. The law is not passed, my friend. Because if you say if the church says the law is passed, then anything can go in the church, or what you call the church. It goes. This is passed. You can let them play in your organs. They can preach. They can teach. They can do whatever. If the law is passed, he can lie. He can lie with an animal, a beast, or whatever. He can do what he wants to do before the Most High, before the King of the universe, the King of all men, and his favor which was upon Israel. But it shall be restored. Those things shall be restored. Because Israel been taken through the ringer, or should I say the children of Jacob, the true children of Jacob, have been taken through the ringer and still going through the ringer, for we love evil, we love disobedience, we love sin, transgression against the law. We do. Now, he says, if a man lieth with mankind, he lieth as he lieth with a woman. Both of them have committed abomination. They shall surely be put to death. He says, in the land, you will put them to death by the same process as I've told you. Lay your hands. You saw these men laying on each other and all this other thing. You saw them. And you certified that they were laying with each other. You caught them in the act. 2 or 3 witnesses. And those hands you will throw the first stones. See, now you see why they put this Esau in a situation with the adulterous woman. Yes, you did. Now, or that Yahushua, Yahusha, whatever, is still the same. God, they just made them black, that's all. But either way, verse 14, if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. In other words, you cannot marry a woman's mother and her at the same time. You cannot do this. Or else it's adultery. If her mother lays with you, man, or you lay with her daughter, it's still adultery. And you try to take her as your wife to excuse adultery because her mother looks younger, or mother's pretty, or they both look like they could be sisters. I think you got a serious problem there. All 3. No. He said, it is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire. He said, you burn them, Israel, with fire. Now, he says, you shall not suffer these people to live, but you will burn this wickedness. The man, his wife, and the mother, the mother and her daughter, all 3 will be burned, is what he's saying. That there be no wickedness among you. The daughter is the seed of another man. The woman is a wife, maybe was a baby mama. But that was her daughter. God said, no, it shall not be. If a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and ye shall slay the beast. Put them both to death. This is out of the auspices of marriage, adultery. Now you got bestiality. God tries to make it plain so even the most simple-minded person would sit up there and say, this is wrong, and it's worthy of death. And then you say, oh, man, okay, let's go a little bit further. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast, and they shall surely be put to death, their blood be upon them. See, the responsibility lies with Israel from the Most High to judge, to sentence, and to execute. Yeah, due process. You go before the priest or whoever, the judge or the elders of the land, and they will take the evidence and they will take the witnesses to record, and they will carry out the sentence. Or either they would say this is found untrue because this was so and so, they would have witnesses in different, due process. Okay? Now, habeas corpus. Even God had that. Now, if a woman approach to any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. In the word, the woman and the dog, the woman and the donkey, the woman and whatever she's laying with. Put them to death. This is an abomination. This is, oof. And there he says, their blood shall be upon them. Now, let's get to 17. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, either way, whether she be your mother, stepmother, or whatever, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing. They shall be cut off. Put him to death, is what he's saying. In the sight of the people. And he that uncover his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his iniquity. It's not in the sweet by and by where the Christianity will have you, where people can get away with sin. Murderers live long after they've murdered vehemently or, just violently a person that was very innocent because the greed of officials that want to put them in prison under the prison industrial complex. Oh yeah, they want to do this all over the world. Or to get some sadistic joker who wants to just beat and maim or whatever in some offbeat prison somewhere in some other country. They would love to do it here. They want to do it. They do it anyway, but yet when they get caught, it depends on who's judging. But he says, look, Israel, you're going to take care of your own. You're going to put this thing to death. You're going to put these people out of the land. This is what's going to happen when Jacob comes into his land again. Yes, this is what's going to happen. You're going to keep the law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances of the Most High. These things will not be. You will not do these things, God is saying. Now God is going to bring Jacob into his land again. Even when they came out of captivity back into the land until God says, you just messed up. Just stay away. Let's continue. He says now, and see their nakedness, she sees his nakedness. It's a wicked thing, and they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He has uncovered his sister's nakedness. He shall bear his iniquity. And if a man, in verse 18, shall lie with a woman having her sickness, that means her period, and shall uncover her nakedness, he hath discovered her fountain, her blood. And she hath uncovered the fountain of her blood, and both of them shall be cut off among their people. Married or unmarried. I don't care how much they say when a woman gets near the end of her woman time that she starts feeling freaky. You better freak yourself into a cold shower somewhere. But he hands it. You say, some man come bragging, yeah, man, it's good when it's wet like that with blood. Okay. They hear this and they're accused before the Levitical priest or the judge or the elders of the land. And they say these people have testified that they have had sex while this woman was on her woman time or a period or however you want to put it. He said, he charged Israel, you will put this to death, not the sweet Bible. Oh, God's going to judge you. You, Israel, were supposed to judge them. This was so, and this is why you were exiled from the land. And you have become the tail, and your others have become the head. And you say, oh, we'll say, no, you're not. We're Israel, you're just as wicked. And the children of Jacob, whether you're in the United States, all scattered all over the world, you're just as wicked and backwards as two left shoes before the Most High. And he's trying to say, my hands are stretched out still. Although his anger is there. Don't let his anger catch you at your last breath. Oh, it's the devil. You've been listening to too much Christianity. You're not listening to the law. At this time, even though you're in a certain country, you should sit up there and say that is not lawful before the Most High. I don't care. Who is you? Don't worry about it. You cannot go against, they will charge you for murder. You did not do nothing to them without malice. And then if you was in their own land, what these hypocritical countries will do? Oh, they got they're killing blood animals, and they're slaughtering them and just burning them up, and then here they are. Yes, killing folks for no reason. Some people come and say they did this and they put their hands on their head. Sadistic. But yet a murderer can live here. A rapist can live in these other countries, can live another day to see another dire day. Some even get free to do the same thing over again, like women and little boys and little girls are fair game for them. Or to stand up and say, I can go and it's fair game to just get up in a tall tower and start unaliving different people. It's wickedness before the Most High. Now he says, if a man lies, let's continue here. Verse 19, and thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, thy aunt, nor thy father's sister, thy aunt, for he uncovers his near kin, they shall bear their iniquity. In other words, you're going to be put to death, you and your aunt. He told Israel to do this. They were doing this in Egypt. They were doing this in the land of Canaan. And they're doing it today. If a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, in verse 20, he hath uncovered his uncle's nakedness, and they shall bear their sin. They shall die childless. Put him to death. If a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He has uncovered his brother's nakedness, and they shall be childless. They shall be put to death. That's what God is telling. He puts the responsibility on the children of Israel. Meaning, no one wants this to happen to them. No one wants to hear the sad tidings that your son laid with your wife. Just as Jacob heard Reuben did. Or, yeah, Reuben, I believe it's Reuben, yes. If not, correct me. The firstborn. That law did not exist at that time. And God's mercy endures forever with those. But now God says, no, this is not going to happen anymore. If a man takes his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He has uncovered his brother's nakedness, and they shall be childless. The only time you can take your brother's wife is after he's dead. Then if they are childless, to raise up a child unto your brother is your duty before the Most High. Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell, therein spew you not out. How did God the land spew Israel out? How did it spew them out? Bringing in what? Babylon, Persia, Gracia, Rome, Europe, Spain. No, China and Russia didn't have nothing to do with you. Neither Japan. They had their own issues. They didn't want to colonize no Africa. They didn't have no interest. They had their own stuff. These people here filled with wickedness. And the Arabs, these are still Europeans. They're just mixed. The ones we call Arabs, but Arabs are truly the ones they call Hooder. Many of them are still in the land of West Africa. They're scattered all over the place. They are the Arabs. The rest are just mixed, more white than black. Some of them are pretty much look black, but that's it. He brought these people upon you, Jacob. From all four sides, he brought them upon you. From South Africa to all the way into everywhere you ran, they chased you. The wrath of the Most High chased you. And every time you do things according and contrary to the Most High, his wrath chases you. How does he do it? Through people. These are vessels of dishonor. They will never see the realm of the Most High. They will never repent. For in their heart there's a burning. These are set for the destruction to come. They're set even for the abyss of devils. They will never go anywhere. And you call yourself Indian, them putting on these devilish looking tattoos and markings of your body and all these things. How foolish can you get? You don't see God in nothing. But nevertheless, there are those, thank the Most High, that do go after the law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances. And if we do that, we will have peace.